Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to worship with the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura. This morning is our first truly hybrid service from the sanctuary. Most of you are still joining us on Zoom and YouTube, and I want to welcome you back into the sanctuary, at least virtually. And now, and yes, and the people who are here, there's just a few of us. Yay! We're getting there. We are getting there. We are getting there. I am the Reverend Dana Worsnop, and I welcome you all here today. I'm the minister of this congregation, and I welcome you all, those bringing yourselves here, zooming in from home, and the small but mighty group of folks, mostly parents of our RE children and youth, who are together here in the sanctuary. Our kids are outside and their parents get to be here, just getting started with this new in-person hybrid thing. We are showing up once more, showing up and showing that we are a congregation that practices holy flexibility, embracing the possibilities under evolving circumstances, and that we are also a congregation of dedication, patience, love, and commitment. Just a couple of announcements. First, the Wellspring program, which is a Unitarian Universalist program, a covenant group that also works toward spiritual depth from a Unitarian Universalist perspective, is still open, and you may join that. And now Ruth Owens is here with an announcement about our upcoming auction. Start again.
Good morning. Oh, sorry. Good morning, everybody. I am Ruth Owens, and I'm excited to be at the sanctuary finally. Yay. So I wanted to let everybody know that we are doing the auction this year, and it is starting. The kickoff is going to be the 23rd of October. We're going to do an outdoor fiesta themed taco truck dinner. So get that on your calendars. It's going to be done similar to last year, by doing it online. But right now we're asking everybody to put on your thinking caps and start submitting your auction items. So we are accepting in-person items this year, so you can do your dinners, the wine tasting, and all of that good stuff. You will define the COVID parameters that you want to place on your event so that people know vaccinated only or that kind of thing. And we're also going to be collecting personal objects again this year. So think about what you've got, you want to get rid of, you want to try to give it to the church, and we can maybe make some money off of it. You can find the electronic submittal form on the UUCV this week. Every week it should be in that, and the church service announcements. I believe it's also on our UUCV Facebook page, but I'll have to double check that. Or you can always contact Jennifer Luce, Katie Turner, or myself, and we will be happy to send it to it. So come on, we can come up with all those great, exciting ideas, and let's make it a great auction this year again. Thank you.
Let us now breathe together here in the sanctuary and at home. Let your breathing fall into a natural rhythm. Let it connect you with far-flung and close-by members of the church. Let it connect you with the breath and the heartbeat of the world. And let us enter sacred space.
Good morning. I am Worship Associate Rob March. We invite those who are Zooming or streaming into this service to light a chalice or candle at home as Reverend Dana lights the chalice of our free faith here in this sanctuary for the first time in 19 months. We begin our service this morning with these words from Reverend Gretchen Haley, Space for New Possibility. What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? In these days, we find ourselves too often stuck with these questions on repeat. What's going to happen? Will everything be okay? What can I do? We grasp at signs and markers, articles of news and analysis, Facebook memes, and forwarded emails, as if the new zodiac, capable of forecasting all that life may yet bring our way, as if we could prepare, as if life had ever made any promises of making sense or turning out the way we'd thought, as if we are not also actors in this still unfolding story. For this hour we gather to surrender to the mystery, to release ourselves from the needing to know, the yearning to have it all already figured out, and also the burden of believing we either have all the control or none. Here in our song and our silence, our stories and our sharing, we make space for a new breath, a new healing, a new possibility to take root. That is courage. Forged in the fire of our coming together and felt in the spirit that comes alive in this act of faith, that we believe still a new world is possible, that we are creating it already, here and now. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning, everyone. I am Carolyn Bierke, the music director, and I want to welcome you all on screen and here in person. Our opening hymn is going to be Morning Has Broken, and the words will be up on the screen, so please join us. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where God's feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light in its play. Praise with elation, praise every morning, God's recreation of a new day.
Good morning. My name is Gary Zinik, and this is my reflection about being a Unitarian Universalist and a member of this church. I was born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah, in a Jewish family. I was bar mitzvahed at age 13 and confirmed at age 15. But after I left Salt Lake to go to college, for me, Judaism became increasingly obsolete. I started taking classes in comparative religion, and at age 19, I discovered the Unitarian Universalist Church. Now, this is a church beyond belief, and I mean that literally. There's no dogma or doctrine that you have to believe to be a UU. In fact, more important than beliefs are values. Values like inclusivity and democracy and treating everyone with dignity and respect. The people have the power in this church, not the minister or those in authority. Everyone has a seat at the table and everyone is welcome at this church. That drew me right in. And at age 20, while I was in graduate school at UCSB studying to be a psychologist, I joined the Unitarian Church in Santa Barbara. It was one of the best decisions I ever made, and it changed my life forever. I moved to Ventura with my family in 1995 and joined this church. I'm 67, and I've been a UU for 41 years. You are my people, and this is my spiritual home. I've had so many wonderful experiences in this church. One of the most important has been my men's group. I've been in the same men's group for 17 years. We call ourselves Los Simpaticos, and I love my band of brothers. My men's group has been a spiritual experience for me that embodies the covenant of trust we share here at UUCV. I want to close with a story about the UU General Assembly in Portland, Oregon in 2015. If you've never been to a General Assembly, you really should try to go sometime. It's a wonderful experience. There's nothing like the sound of 4,000 UU voices singing those familiar hymns that we know and love all in unison. So it just so happened that during the General Assembly in 2015, the US Supreme Court decision on marriage equality was announced. The UU Church has always been on the forefront of the campaign for gay marriage. There's a UU saying that's dear to my heart: we don't have to think alike to love alike. And that is especially true in my family because both my children are gay. My son and his husband live in Portland, and they were with me at the General Assembly in 2015. When we heard the Supreme Court's decision was imminent, everybody rushed to the conference center. And when it was announced that gay marriage was the law of the land, the crowd exploded. Everyone was singing and dancing and crying and cheering. It was totally awesome. I'll never forget that moment. We were standing on the side of love, and it made me prouder than ever to be a UU. Thank you.
So I just want to give a shout out right now before I forget, we get deeper into the service. There are 4 people back in our control room who are making this worship service happen here in person and on Zoom. This is our first time through. They're doing an amazing job. Oh my gosh. It's Kent Brinkmeyer and Sue Brinkmeyer, Neil Ortenberg, and our audio visual wizard, Brian Fortune. And so and so we're doing our best, and I'm sure there are going to be a few glitches, but I've been saying from the beginning that it's going to be just perfect. It already is. It's amazing. Lovely to see you. Lovely to know there are so many people joining us on Zoom. Yay. So a shout out to those people who are working in the background right now. Each Sunday, this congregation gives away our collection to an organization in the larger community or often to funds that help people in our own church. And those of you at home on Zoom, yay, have two ways to give. There is the link, the website link that will be posted in the chat. And then also we've got this nifty system of texting to give. So this is the number 844-901-1779. Now, if you are already signed up and in our online giving system, you can probably just put in a number that you want to give, no $sign, no decimal point, great. If you have not signed up yet, you can put in a number, text a number to that, text the amount of your gift to that number, and you will be able to it'll prompt you, it'll ask you to put in your information and get you into our system, and then it'll work more smoothly next time. So either way is great to give. If you want to give cash or checks, there will be baskets at the end of the service for you to put those into still. Our offering today goes to the Channel Islands Restoration Project. Channel Islands Restoration to protect rare and endangered species by restoring habitat in sensitive natural areas, both on the California Channel Islands and the mainland. They also partner with groups like Friends of the Island Fox to protect animals, including the foxes, snowy plovers, and bald eagles. Recently, a crew from Channel Islands Restoration worked in the Santa Ynez River backcountry to remove an invasive plant called tamarisk. A single mature tamarisk tree can draw up to 100 to 200 gallons of water a day, which reduces the stream flow and adds to stress on endangered species like the red-legged frog and the arroyo toad. A single tamarisk can also produce 500,000 seeds a year, which then wash downstream and germinate and quickly expand the problem. The crew from Channel Islands Restoration has already treated almost 50 river miles and removed nearly 1,000 trees, and they're about 1/3 of the way to their total goal. They say with justifiable pride, we've made great progress in a short time to help protect native plants and animals that depend on this habitat for their survival. Thank you for giving generously in multiple ways, as you always do.
No one here to guide you. Now you're on your own. Only me beside you. Still you're not alone. No one is alone. Truly, no one is alone. Sometimes people leave you halfway through the wood. Others may deceive you. You decide what's good. You decide alone. But no one is alone. People make mistakes. Fathers, mothers, people make mistakes, holding to their own, thinking they're alone. Honor their mistakes, everybody makes one another's terrible mistakes. Witches can be right, giants can be good. You decide what's right, you decide what's good. Just remember
your side, someone else is not. While you're seeing your side, maybe you forgot they are not alone. No one is alone. Hard to see the light now. Just don't let it go. Things will come out right now. We can make it so. Someone is on your side. No one is alone.
How very grateful we are for the generosity of this congregation, which weaves a tapestry of love that becomes a web spreading all over our community, a tapestry of love we call community. Thank you.
Now is the time in the service when we hold up the great joys and sorrows that grace our lives. We place stones in water for both the celebrations and sorrows in our hearts, making ripples that are felt throughout our community. We still invite everyone to submit a joy or sorrow in one of two ways, from a link on the website, uuventura.org, or a link in our Thursday email bulletin, UUCV this week. Those received by 10 p.m. on Saturday will be read aloud on that Sunday. Gudrun Eastham shares this joy. I had the pleasure of sharing poems with my favorite living humorist, Judith Viorst, with fellow residents of Leisure Village, Camarillo during a Reader's Theater presentation last Thursday. This joy comes from Pam and Jim Waldron. Our darling grandson, Royden, celebrated his first birthday on Saturday. He has brought us so much love and joy this past year. We are so blessed to be grandparents. I invite you now to speak into the gathered community or write into the Zoom chat the names of those you wish to celebrate, memorialize, or those in need of the loving embrace of this beloved community. Reverend Dana will now place one final stone in the water for all the joys and sorrows yet unspoken in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. May we be truly grateful for all that is our life.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
One more time.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Our reading this morning is from Rebecca Solnit from a 2004 essay titled Looking into Darkness. On January 18th, 1915, 6 months into the First World War, as all Europe was convulsed by killing and dying, Virginia Woolf wrote in her journal, quote, "The future is dark, which is on the whole the best thing that the future can be, I think," end quote. Dark, she seems to say, as in inscrutable, not as in terrible. We often mistake the one for the other. Or we transform the future's unknowability into something certain, the fulfillment of all our dread, the place beyond which there is no way forward. But again and again, far stranger things happen than the end of the world. Anything could happen. The future is dark, with a darkness as much of the womb as the grave. I want to propose a new vision of how change happens. I want to throw out the crippling assumptions that keep many from being a voice in the world. I want to start over with an imagination adequate to the possibilities and the strangeness and the dangers on this earth in this moment.
I invite you now into a time of stillness. Breathe. Let yourself arrive fully where you are. Here in the sanctuary, if you wish, or at home, place your feet on the floor. At home, you can lean back into the pillow if you wish and arrive fully. Notice your breathing. Feel it as the collective breath that enlivens, inspirits us all. A silent meditation.
Well, the road is wide and waters run on either side, and my shadow in the fading light is stretching out towards the night, 'cause the sun is low and I hear there's still so far to go, and my lonely heart is beating slow, tired of the wandering, I think it's the same one again. But I'm thinking about my only friend. So I'll find my way home. 'Cause when I need to get home, you're my guiding light. You're my guiding light. When I need to get home, you're my guiding light. You're my guiding light. Oh, well, the air is cold, and yonder lies my sleeping soul. By the branches broke like bones. Oh, this weakened tree no longer holds. Well, the night is still, and I have not yet lost my will. And oh, I will keep moving still till I find my way home. So when I need to get home, you're my guiding light. You're my guiding light. When I need to get home, you're my guiding light. You're my guiding light. When I need to get home, you're my guiding light. You're my guiding light. When I need to get home, you're my guiding light. You're my guiding light. When I need to get home, you're my guiding light. You're my guiding light. When I need to get home, you're my guiding light. You're my guiding light. So lead me home and lead me strong, like the road I walk on. When I need to get home, you're my guiding light. You're my guiding light. When I need to get home, you're my guiding light. You're my guiding light.
It's just so lovely to be here with you, to be here with you, to be here with the people in the back doing magic things back there. So in my younger days, I worked as a waitress in many, many restaurants. And with a good manager and a hardworking staff, it could be great fun. And mostly I really loved those days. Together, the whole staff would fall into a rhythm and flow that was like a dance. I made sure I never went out to my tables without 2 or 3 things for my customers, and that I never came back with 2 or 3 things that they no longer needed. I was efficient and moved with flow and grace. And at busy times, the whole staff did this. We had to have a kind of physical awareness. How many of you have been a waiter, waitress, server at a restaurant? Okay, so there's just this rhythm, and it's like you put your hand on their back behind you to let somebody know that you're coming through. And we all moved with a grace and a flow that was lovely and gratifying when it worked. And luckily it worked more often than not. Yes, the customers could be demanding and yes, obnoxious and hustling literally for tips is not a sustainable or fair economic model for employment. Yet I loved the dance, the camaraderie, the interactions that could be so fun with customers. And I still remember my favorite tip ever. I was working at a salad bar restaurant on Charles Street in Boston called Salad Days, which is a phrase from Shakespeare. And this was back in the late 70s, in the days when salad bars were a new and exciting innovation. Soup, salad, and bread. That's all we served. And yes, we also wore t-shirts with Shakespeare's. So I'm just, okay. Don't understand. Just going to keep going. Now I understand. Okay, so it was called Salad Days, and we had t-shirts with Shakespeare's portrait emblazoned across the front. And there was this party that I served, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 times, who were just great tippers. Their tips were close to 50%, which was amazing all by itself. And yet one day they also left a business-sized card with a cartoon on it. The cartoon was just in one small corner, there was a globe with a big dialogue bubble that took up the rest, filling the rest of the card with these wise words. If you think you know what's going on, you're probably full of shit. Just delighted me. I kept that card for years and years. It disappeared in one move somewhere, but I needed the tip. This was in my student days, and I'm sure I spent all that money pretty fast. And I kept that card for a long time. And even after losing it, the wisdom of that has stayed with me all the while. And if the pandemic has taught us anything, it is how little control we actually have. How little we know about what is coming next. How little we really know what is going on in the world. And if we think we know, we're probably wrong somewhere anyway. The pandemic landed us on the steepest part of a learning curve in flexibility and patience and embracing new possibilities and staying positive when the technology tricksters are messing with us some more. That particular thing about the microphone was not the technology tricksters, it was the new cameras, and apparently that gets in the way of my face while speaking. I'm speaking to all of you, and now I'm really speaking to all the people online too. Learning, new possibilities, new wrinkles all the time. And that is what makes our September theme, Embracing Possibilities, so apt. As hard as it has been for the past year and a half, flipping, twisting, turning, sometimes on a dime, COVID time has showed us realities that we needed to see. Among the realities that we have been useful that we needed to see. Among them is that our sense of having control in our lives is an illusion. It is a useful illusion much of the time because we do need to think ahead and make plans. Yet the deeper truth is always that the future is dark. In the way Virginia Woolf meant, even 6 months into a war that seemed the end of the world at the time. In her reading of Woolf, Rebecca Solnit, who is an amazingly wise theologian, social commentator, Rebecca Solnit heard that the darkness, that this was a darkness as in inscrutable, not necessarily as in terrible. Though she adds that we humans have a hard time making that distinction. We imagine what is coming in that darkness as being something that is threatening, if not terrible. And yet, the future is simply unknown. That inscrutability is not necessarily a fearful thing, though we do. This is probably wired in our brains. We humans do tend to fear that which we do not yet know, and that which therefore we cannot completely control. And I think this is, if not just at least a small part, and maybe the whole reason that conspiracy theories are so attractive, so compelling. Because if the ways of the world, if what is going on in the world is beyond our control, perhaps we can take some comfort in having the inside knowledge of why, of what and who is actually controlling the world that feels out of control here, right now, for me, for any of us as individuals and even as groups. We get a look at what is controlling the world we think, and usually it's in insidious ways. Transforming the future's unknowability and uncontrollability into something certain. That's what we're doing. And we are fulfilling our dreads, the place beyond which there is no way forward. We think, conspiracy theorists think they've got the clues, they've put all the clues together and figured it out. We figured out what you might in fact call the end of the world, or at least how it's going to happen. But then Solnit reminds us that again and again, far stranger things have happened than the end of the world. It's just, we thought it was the end of the world, and then this strange thing happened that we didn't predict at all. Theologically, thinking about the end times is called eschatology. UU theologian Rebecca Parker tells us that in the more conservative Christian view holds that the end of the world will come as, quote, a cosmic battle between good and evil when God will save the believers. Traditional universalism holds the view that in the end times that God will save everyone, not just the chosen few. It's universal salvation. My agnostic version of this, I am a complete agnostic about the afterlife. Who knows? Can't know. So my agnostic version of universalism is, if there is a heaven, we're all going. Yet Parker also holds a view which is ultimately even far more hopeful even than that. She asks us, what if we're already in paradise? She offers a third way. which begins with affirming that we are already standing on holy ground. This earth and none other is a garden of beauty, a place of life. Neglecting it for some other imagined better place will be a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it will make the earth a wasteland. There is no land promised to any of us other than the land that is already given, the world already here. This could be the end of the world. This could be paradise. This third view, this third kind of eschatology, can shift from hope for a better world to come to hope that what is good will be treated with justice and love, and that what has been harmed will be repaired by those of us recognizing that we already live in a paradise that needs to be shared by all. That, Parker goes on, is a different kind of hope. She calls it a responsive hope. Responsive in that we still do have some agency, some ability to make a difference, even if we don't actually have a whole lot of control. This is a realer hope, more realistic, more grounded in the reality of the darkness of the future and of our intermittent, at best, control over what happens. It is also a hope that remains open to possibilities we cannot yet imagine. I did not imagine this. These cameras, these lights, these people zooming from home, all a small group of intrepid, beautiful, bemasked people in the sanctuary. 18 months ago, this was not even a possibility that I think any of us had imagined. With all that is amiss in the world right now, all the things, and I'm not going to name them, I'm not going to list them because that just gets really old fast. With all that is amiss, I do think that we can feel like the end of the world. Yet far stranger things have happened than the end of the world. Rebecca Solnit wrote her essay, Looking into Darkness, in 2004, which seems like eons ago. And yet it followed September 11th. And it was after the beginnings of both of the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. And it was inspired by a journal entry by Virginia Woolf, who was writing in the midst of World War I. All of which has at times felt like could this be the end, is a question that has arisen in our hearts through it all. Yet Solnit still imagined that there would be a time to start over with an imagination adequate to the possibilities and the strangeness and the dangers on this earth in this moment. A pandemic in the midst of climate crisis and global political upheaval is as good a time as any to start over with an imagination adequate to the possibilities as any. This is as good a time as any to do that starting over. So let us start over. The truth is the world has always been in upheaval. If you want to go far enough back, it has been always and still is in upheaval, geologically speaking. if you want to expand the timeline that big. And certainly, if you want to squeeze it back down to the tiny amount of time humans have been on the planet, it's always been an upheaval since human beings arose. The world has ever been strange, and the dangers are always there. The future is by its nature unknowable and dark. And yet it need not just be fearful. We can yet start over with adequate imaginations, not wild imaginations, just adequate, enough. We can start over with enough on this earth in this moment. Amen. And may it be so. And so I invite you now into some moments of prayer, reflection. Holy beingness of many names and no name, of darkness and light, which calls us to live here now. Spirit of life, which dwells within and among and beyond us this day and always. May we not give up hope. May we stay present to what is, not pulling away from reality, and also not creating deep fears that may never come to be. Let us be here together, knowing that we are here together. We are not alone. And that together, hopefully, we can respond to what we each need, what this community needs, and what the world needs. And may all those who are ill find healing. May those who are in despair find hope. May those who are without shelter find home. And may all those suffering in conflict and war throughout the world, may we know peace. Amen. And blessed be.
Please join me in our closing hymn, Let It Be a Dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like the willow with the wind, let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let
share the laughter, bear the pain, and round we go again. Let it be a dance.
Please join me in speaking these words in unison. Then Reverend Dana will extinguish the chalice.
Not up yet.
I'm going to continue that.
Okay.
No, we extinguish this
That's
flame,
fine.
but not the light of truth, the warmth of community,
The warmth of community
or the fire of commitment.
or the fire of commitment
Those we carry into our lives
into our lives.
until we are together again. May it be soon.
So those of you who are in Zoom will be placed into breakout rooms after the service. I'm going to need to do a couple of things after the service, and then I'm going to zip in and see if I can join you on Zoom. Any of the folks who are here who want to Zoom into the breakout rooms, you can, though I know most of you have kids in religious education and want to see how that's been going. So we will find ways to stay tied together even when we're in disparate places. I leave you today with the words of the Reverend Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. We are not alone. Whatever the future holds, we will encounter it together. Go forth in love, go forth in peace, go forth in good health, go forth in beauty. May it be so. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
I realized, well, see, the thing is, it's just. So they can't see Robin and Lee, right? So I thought we could dance, but then of course we can. It's fine. You know. Yeah.
I'm interested in a small group that I wanted to tell you. The sound. No, I love the piano. It sounds like a combination of regular piano and electronic piano.